Hello everyone, this is Weston's Weather. I was with another video forecast. In today's video, we will break down upcoming severe weather that is going to be occurring over the course of the next 3 days. Starting off with the day 1 outlook, you can tell we do have a triple point of severe weather today. We have a very large slight risk across portions of New Mexico, Kansas, Colorado, and Oklahoma. It extends into northern Texas Panhandle. Then we have another slight risk back here in central Texas, and another one back here in southern New Mexico and southwestern Texas. Very large marginal risk of severe weather surrounding this all the way out to the East Coast in places like southern and southeastern North Carolina, extending back towards Denver, Colorado. And I would not be surprised to see an extension of this slight risk a bit out, maybe even towards our marginal risk, and our marginal risk getting pushed out to the Oklahoma-Arkansas border. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that for you. And damaging winds, large hail, and a tornado are going to be possible today. And we actually do have a bit of an elevated tornado risk today back here in Kansas, Oklahoma, and Colorado. And I would not rule out a strong tornado or two to occur today back here in this 5% risk area. And we even have a 2% risk area outside of that is pretty large. But then we have another 2% risk area in central Texas and one back here in southwestern and southern New Mexico. You can tell severe wind, we do actually only have two 15% areas. That one back in central Texas, another one across these 4 states, Colorado, New Mexico, Texas, Kansas, and Oklahoma. I guess it's those 5 states, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. I had to make sure. Then severe hail, we could see some hailstones up to baseballs today back here in Colorado, Kansas, and Oklahoma. But we yet again have that triple point of severe weather. So we're going to keep a close eye on that for you. Moving on to tomorrow, finally, don't have a slight risk of severe weather. Just a very large marginal risk of severe weather is in play. And like I said yesterday, I would not be surprised if we got a slight risk back here in Florida. I just feel like we always do this time of year, and it's usually right across this area right here. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that for you. But there is more good news with this. No tornado risk anywhere tomorrow. Incredible news. And I'm just so happy we don't have a tornado risk for tomorrow. And we only have that 5% wind and hail outlook, so this is just incredible. Moving on to Friday, things are going to ramp up again with another slight risk of severe weather across portions of southern and northern Carolina. I guess I should just say South and North Carolina. But then we have a very large marginal risk extending from parts of New Jersey back through portions of eastern, southeastern New Mexico. I do think a tornado or two is going to be possible. Not only here, I do think we'll have a 2% tornado risk across our slight risk, but then I do think we're going to have a 2% tornado risk along the Gulf here with Texas. So we're going to keep an eye on that. And only a 15% non-hatch overall severe risk. Now, I thought I'd pull this up. Wednesday, that's today, we do have a dry thunderstorm risk today. It is a level 1 out of 2, and it is only isolated dry thunderstorms today in portions of New Mexico. Moving on to this is the NAM, and this is the HRRR. Okay, so we'll go and look at the NAM right now. You can tell we do have storms left over from last night in Texas. And then you can tell we're watching a pretty elongated area for supercell development, anywhere from southwestern Kansas back through New Mexico, all the way down to southern Texas. We're going to be watching. And I don't think the prime tornado risk comes until right around here, around 6 o'clock. If we go and look at convective and look at significant tornado parameter right here, you can tell it is a bit higher here, so it's not incredibly high, but the risk is definitely there. So we're definitely going to have to keep an eye on it, and that will soon push eastward and southeastward. And we actually may get a bit of redevelopment around 2 to 3 a.m. back here around Tulsa with this segment, but I do only expect up to quarter-size tail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and a non-zero tornado risk, potentially. I do think that if we go and look at significant tornado parameter, it is a 0 tornado risk. So back here in northern and northeastern Oklahoma, no reason to be concerned about tornadoes. Moving on to the HRRR, we are going to see it does have more supercells firing up here, and they're not as widespread. You can tell we do have a few back up here in Oklahoma and Kansas, and a few back here in central Texas firing up. Now, I don't expect these to be too crazy at first, but I do think as they move along, the ones up there in Kansas are going to get pretty intense. And HRRR actually has this Boeing line here, pushing across portions of northeastern Oklahoma back towards Oklahoma City. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that here. And I would not be surprised to maybe even see a 2% tornado risk added. And our 2% tornado risk today being roughly around here, with our 5% risk being centered across that area. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that for you. And then we might actually get redevelopment around 6, 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then that'll push southeastern throughout the day. Then we even see some more redevelopment. I would not be surprised also, based off this model run, to see a pretty large slight risk for tomorrow. So if we go ahead and back things up here on the HRRR to look at that significant tornado parameter right here. Significant tornado parameter right there. You can tell it's pretty low, and that is a good thing. And the significant tornado parameter tomorrow is also pretty low. So overall, this is just good news. Moving on to the GFS here, you're going to get very familiar with this here because we are going to be looking at this quite a bit to see what is going on in the upper levels. If we go and take a look right now, you can tell not much, but here's our upcoming potential hurricane spinning here off the coast of Mexico. And there are big questions that still remain with this. Keep that in mind. And I do think here towards the start of June, we are going to get a dip in the jet stream here. That is going to promote some significant severe weather, I think, if this happens. Keep in mind this is on the 6th. But with this, we have our low pressure system, and it is a negatively tilted trough sitting on the Rockies right now. Let's undo that line. We do have a negatively tilted trough sitting on the Rockies. And if this thing ejects like this, I do think it is going to promote a significant severe risk across Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Kansas, and Missouri. And based off the latest GFS, it does eject off the Rockies. And I would definitely be warning about this now. It's too far out to be into specifics, but around the 6th, we could be looking at a significant severe weather risk in the southern plains. And then I do think we will quiet down by mid-June. Moving on to the GFS here, but this is simulated reflectivity. If we go ahead and see here, you can tell that we're going to have a few different low pressure systems. And we got to keep an eye on those, as those are going to bring our low and severe threats. But as you can see, high pressure is going to dominate the plains here at the end of May into June. And then that high pressure system is going to move away. And then here's our low pressure system, kind of just sitting there around the Rockies on the 2nd, 3rd. And then here's our new low pressure system on the, this is the 3rd still, but here's the 4th. It's sitting over there in California. It's going to slowly move. Here you see on the 4th, it moves onto the Rockies. The 5th, it's starting to try to eject. And here, it ejects right here on the 6th. And as you can tell, it has a pretty big swath of supercells go up. too early to get into specifics on whether these would be long track or if they would just be a isolated risk across this area. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. But as you can tell, on the 7th, our low pressure spins up here in Minnesota, bringing heavy rain threat up there. But it also has a bunch of supercells fire off across a very large area, anywhere from Illinois back through portions of Oklahoma. So we're definitely keeping a very close eye on this. I don't know why that just pulled up, but we're definitely keeping an eye on it. And then you can tell things look to quiet down towards June. And here is this storm again, this tropical storm hitting Florida. I still don't believe it, so I'm not buying it just yet. Here we go. We move on to the Euro, and it's kind of on board with the same story. Now, we can't go out to the 6th or anything yet, but it's got those low-end severe threats, so we're going to keep an eye on it. But just looks like pretty rainy across the western part of the United States, and high pressure will dominate across the plains. And then I think across the eastern coast, we are going to be rainy as well. So going to keep an eye on that. And we will go more into detail tomorrow on that eastern coast system, but it's just a little too far out to get into specifics. All right, 7-day outlook. We do have a 100% chance of cyclone formation in 7 days, and formation change through 48 hours, high near 100%. So we are going to see a tropical storm develop within the next couple of days. Let's see here, and it says tropical depression or tropical storm is expected to form later today or tonight, as the low moves generally west-northwestward at around 10 miles an hour. So it's near 100% chance over the next week, but it's also over the next 2 days at 100% chance of development. So we're going to watch that. Here, if we go ahead and look at the GFS and see what it's showing, there's good news coming out of this. You can tell it's going to spin just off the coast of western Mexico, and then it's going to try and make a run, but it's going to die out right in between that little, like, I don't even know what I'd call this, but it's right in this area between land and sea. It's going to go right in here, and it's going to end up dying off. So that is extremely good news out of this. And there's even more good news coming out of this. Keep this in mind. The Euro is on board with it too. The GFS and Euro are both on board with this not making landfall and having it die out before it attempts. So this is extremely good news, and I am really happy that it looks like no one is going to be impacted by this. But I do think this may be a sign of what is to come this hurricane season. Thank you guys so much for watching today. I hope you did enjoy. Please subscribe